Alright, it's the start of May, and I've looked at the results of the poll. And it looks like the winner is the Super Metroid Legend of Zelda Link to the Past Randomizer. So that'll be my next playthrough. Since you don't actually do an intro level, or see the intro when I run the randomizer for both games, I think I'll actually just cover both games as backstories here in this video. So first we have Super Metroid, where it shows here that Samus tells the backstory, as Super Metroid and Legend of Zelda Link to the Past are actually the third games in their respective series. Samus goes over what she did in the first game, Metroid, where she defeated the Mother Brain and stopped the space pirates from using the Metroid as a bioweapon, then went to the homeworld of the Metroids on planet SR-388 on a mission to eradicate the entire Metroid species to prevent anyone else like the pirates from using them. But as Samus shows here, she spared one of the Metroids at the end, this single hatchling that remained. And Samus would end up delivering this hatchling to the Ceres space colony so that the scientists there could study the Metroid. Of course, no sooner after delivering the Metroid and leaving the Ceres colony does Samus pick up a distress signal that Ceres station was being attacked. So Samus ends up racing back to the Ceres station to find out what went wrong. And this is where you get the first bit of playthrough as Samus. Now, this is how Samus will start in the randomizer, with just the power armor and the unupgraded beam. Unlike Link, though, Samus won't be completely helpless. It'll be possible to shoot enemies with the regular gun, so I'll have to move around Super Metroid a bit until I can find some equipment for Link that'll allow him to be able to defend himself in Zelda Link to the Past. Anyways, back to the Super Metroid backstory. Samus runs through the space station to discover that the baby Metroid is still here, and it hasn't gotten out of its pod, so it didn't cause the destruction. But then the one who did cause the destruction reveals itself. It's Ridley from the original Metroid, and Samus has to try and fight him off to try and keep him from stealing the Metroid hatchling. Of course, you can't actually stop Ridley, so it's up to you whether you want to shoot him a bunch of times to no effect, or just jump into him like I'm doing here to lose enough health that he'll take off with the hatchling. So yeah, Ridley escapes with the Metroid hatchling and activates the self-destruct sequence of the Ceres colony. So you get this time limit to run back to the entrance, which isn't that hard to do. There's no enemies and nothing can hurt you. Like, there's some gas releases there that do hit you, but they don't do damage, so they just try to slow you down. And again, this evacuation part's super easy to do. I like the effect here, though, when you're going up here and the whole thing starts tilting. This combined with the music that plays, which is Ridley's theme from Super Metroid, does really give you that feeling of escaping the colony. So yeah, there will be sound when I actually play the randomizer. Samus escapes from the space colony and tracks Ridley back to planet Zebes, which is where the randomizer will begin. Not just the Super Metroid randomizer, but the Super Metroid Link to the Past randomizer will begin at this point where Samus lands her ship on planet Zebes. This mod will also combine The Legend of Zelda Link to the Past with items from both Super Metroid and Link to the Past appearing in both games. The backstory of The Legend of Zelda Link to the Past talks about how the Triforce was discovered in the Sacred Land, and it mentions here the omnipotent and omniscient golden power, which is the Triforce. And yeah, the backstory here is pretty basic. It talks about how people fought each other trying to get the Triforce, and then Ganon ends up being the one getting it, and then the 7 sages end up having to seal him in the Sacred Land. Now, this game was the third game of the Zelda franchise, but it actually focuses... It would later be changed in the timeline that was created for the Zelda timeline, where there were 3 separate times that occurred between the B, C, and D timelines, as they're called, from Ocarina of Time. Link to the Past is the direct sequel to the B timeline, where Link is defeated by Ganon, but manages to buy the 7 Sages enough time to seal Ganon away in the Sacred Realm with the Triforce. Many years pass after this, and at which point an evil wizard named Aghanim comes to Hyrule with the intention of releasing the seal and opening the Sacred Land, which comes to be known as the Dark World. It says here he gets rid of the King of Hyrule. He then performs some sort of ritualistic magic to seal all of the 7 maidens who were supposed to be descendants of the 7 sages that sealed Ganon away. And using this magic, he makes them disappear. What he's actually doing is he's sending them in crystal form to the Sacred Realm, which Ganon's magic and the Triforce have turned into the Dark World. And by the time the game begins, the only one of the descendants he has left to send to the Dark World is Zelda herself, who contacts Link for help, the Link of this time, mentioning how the wizard Aghanim has done something to the other missing girls, and now Aghanim has control of the castle and is trying to open the seal that created by the 7 sages. Here it's called the 7 wise men, even though the sages were different people from various races in Ocarina of Time. So yeah, when Link wakes up, his uncle's already on the way out, carrying a sword and shield, and telling Link, "Don't leave the house, I'll be back by morning." Link disobeys his uncle and follows him upward towards Hyrule Castle, which is where he's headed. It's like the door to the castle is sealed, so Link finds a secret passage to get into the castle on the other side. You can see there's this well, you just open up this hole and drop in. This is basically Zelda's intro level. You'll find Link's uncle in this well area where he's become either sick or injured or something, and he gives Link the sword and shield he has with him, and tells Link that he's the one that needs to go and rescue Princess Zelda. So you get the sword and shield here. I won't be able to actually get any of the items for Link at this point. He'll be completely without weapons, a shield, or any items when I first start the randomizer, since you don't actually do these intro levels in the randomizer, so Link will have no equipment, and I'll have to find some equipment for him, likely as Samus, to get him going. So with his intro level, Link will eventually make his way down here to the bottom of the dungeon where Zelda is being held captive. She's being guarded by this ball and chain trooper, but you can throw these jars at him and he'll go down in 2 hits. You get the big key, which will open Zelda's cell, which as you see contains a chest. There'll be a random item in that chest, so this will be a place I'll have to go to in the randomizer, since it could contain an important key item I need to win the game. And I intend to basically try to 100% all the items and such you find. I mean, I may not find everything, but I'll know where most stuff is. Anyway, once you rescue Zelda, she'll tell you that she knows of a secret passage that you can use to escape with her out of the castle, and asks you to take her to the throne room. Here she mentions the secret passage in the throne room that will take them to Sanctuary, where the sage/priest that runs the place will help them. So Link leads Zelda up into the throne room here, and with her help you can push this ornamental shelf on to the right to find a secret passage that leads into a tunnel that leads out of the castle. You'll see here she mentions to push it from the left. So you get on the left side, push the ornament right, and you'll find the secret passage that leads out of the castle. And at the end of the tunnel, you'll enter the Sanctuary. The sage/priest will be here and will be surprised that Zelda has escaped the palace safely, and that Link is the one that rescued her. Zelda and the sage will also then tell Link about a weapon that is capable of defeating the wizard, known as the Master Sword, By this point in the timeline, the Master Sword was forged from the sword in Skyward Sword, and then moved on from there to become a weapon of legend used by numerous Links throughout many of the Zelda adventures. And if he wants to defeat the wizard Aghanim and save Hyrule, he'll need to find the Master Sword himself and wield its power. You'll see here, they mention the only weapon potent enough to defeat the wizard Aghanim would be the Master Sword. It is said the village elder is a descendant of one of the... Yeah, the text is a little slow here. As he mentions, one of the 7 wise men, aka the 7 sages from Ocarina of Time. And he mentions he'll have Princess Zelda hide here. Yeah, that heart container won't be there in the randomizer. But yeah, this is where Link's adventure will begin, though he won't actually start here in Sanctuary. There are doors throughout Super Metroid that will bring me to Hyrule, where I'll switch play control over to Link. And he'll have whatever equipment I've found for him, either as Samus, or if I decide to head in unarmed as Link and try some of the treasure chests I can access without the use of equipment. This will be my opening video for the Super Metroid Link to the Past Randomizer. So yeah, the next video will be part 1 of that playthrough. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you for the next video.